You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I can do those things because I'm not a hero. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
They'll hunt you.
You'll hunt me. You'll condemn me. Set the dogs on me. Because that's what needs to happen. Because sometimes the truth isn't good enough. Sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded.
Hello?
I don't want to talk.
But dang, how you doing today?
Good, I don't want to talk.
Why you always tell me that?
Because I don't like talking to you. I don't like talking to you.
But you won't even let me ask the question before you try to answer.
You just said, how are you? You just said, how are you?
Oh my goodness, Demi, why you so rude to your daddy?
I don't like talking to you.
But that doesn't give you a reason to be rude. You gotta honor your mother and your father, sweetheart.
Okay, I don't want to talk.
I get that much, but you don't have to be rude about it.
I said I don't want to talk.
I know that. I heard you the first 4 times, but you still need to stop being rude. That's the whole thing about it.
I'm telling you something and you're not listening.
Because I'm the parent, you can't tell me nothing. That's the thing.
I can express my feelings.
You definitely can, but you can do that without being rude as well. That's the whole thing. That's the key.
Okay.
You don't be rude and you don't be disrespectful. Okay, but you don't have to talk over me either. But you don't have to talk over me. So if you don't want to talk and you're going to talk over me, you could just be quiet and let me say what I got to say. You get that from your mama. But I love you and I miss you anyway.
Bye-bye.
You know, the clip that you just saw came from Dr. Johnson's Facebook post. I don't know exactly where the clip came from originally. I couldn't even tell you. But what I saw was disturbing. It really was. And although Dr. Johnson had a different take on it than I did, a slightly different take about the not criticizing the mother for the child's behavior, which I completely agree with, that the behavior comes from a mother and the lack of respect comes directly from the mother, and her encouraging that and also not disciplining the child for her speaking to her father that way. And I don't know exactly how old this child is. She sounds like she's about 7 or 8 years old because she's rather articulate. And I don't know exactly whether the child is completely black or mixed or whatnot, which really doesn't matter. What disturbs me about it is that, and I said this on the Facebook post, which is probably why I'm doing this particular segment, this podcast, right? Is because I saw a black man get castrated by his own child, psychologically and verbally castrated by a child. I'm not even talking about a teenager, by a child, unapologetically. And then you put the castration on display in social media. Hopefully you got an out, and hopefully you got a play like you're going to go to court or something like that. Hopefully that's what it is, because you just gutted yourself, committed seppuku in public. And it's one thing to get embarrassed by your kid, right? Get told off by your child. And I'm sure the way she's talking to him, it's not the first time, but actually to publicly display it because you want sympathy. Now, I am sympathetic to your plight. I really am. I'm sympathetic to your plight as a human being, that no parent should have to be spoken to like a child. I don't care if you haven't seen that child in like 50 years. That child's going to come in your face. The child has no right to disrespect you, period. It's best that you stay away and not say nothing. But for an 8-year-old that you pay for, that you're probably paying child support for, that you're in contact with, and she has the nerve to speak to you that way, that means the mother speaks to you that way. That means your mother already castrates you. I'm like saying, bro, why don't you just take your balls and divide it between the two of them? Because you get up there with that virtual signaling talking about I love you and you shouldn't talk to your daddy like that. What are you, a white woman? Now I hear white sons talk to their mothers like that all the time. And it's disturbing for black people or black person, a black man, to hear what a son will say to his mother. But you don't see that son say the same thing to his father. That white boy will not disrespect his father. But in the black community, we have this problem where we let our females disrespect us like that because we don't want to take a freaking L. We tuck our tail between our legs and we run off. We scurry off. And why do we get talked to like that? Because black women especially think that it's her place and our place for them to mommy us and for us to talk to us like we got a tail and for us to accept it, and then encourage another, the offspring, a little girl that in training to talk to you the same way. You wonder why we got black women that disrespect us and coming up where black women aren't even wanted. And she's going to go out and talk to her father like that. What do you think she's going to do with the little boy on the playground, or the little boy in high school, or the little boy in college, or the boy in college, or even the man when she gets in her 20s? She's going to talk to him the same way. And guess what? Black men take that shit instead of taking your L. And people got mad at me, okay, because I put in that child will be disowned. Period. I don't care if she's 2. If they think that I learned this from a man. I learned this from a woman, an older woman. When I was in my 20s. I was 22, and my older girlfriend told me a story. Right, and I'm gonna give you the story right here. Told me a story. She said she had a dog. She loved that dog. Right. She cared for that dog. She walked that dog. She fed that dog. She picked up the dog's poop. When nobody else cared for that dog, she was one to care for that dog. Right. And she said one day, as usual, she's going out to feed the dog. She pets the dog. She goes out to feed the dog. One day, the dog got uppity and bit her. I said, okay, what did you do? She said she got rid of the dog. I asked her why. She said, nothing I feed will bite my hand. Nothing I feed will bite my hand. That was 40 years ago. I never, ever forgot her. I love this woman for that to this day. To this day. I don't care if it's girlfriend, if it's wife, if it's mother, if it's sister, if it's child, if it's grandchild, if it's baby. Nothing I feed will bite my hand. Period. Now, will I hurt him? Will I kill him? No. Thing is, I have nothing to do with you. I'm not feeding you anymore because I earned that respect. Now, he didn't disrespect his child. He didn't say anything mean to his child. Nothing he did in that call is deserving of what that child did to him. Just the mere fact that he's in a parent position, she should respect the office of parent. I've seen parents beat their kids senseless, talk to their kids horribly, and still get the respect and the love and admiration from their child. This is unacceptable. And for a man to sit there and basically publicly castrate himself in public by his own daughter is unacceptable. And for women and other guys to co-sign this, like this is acceptable to take this, like I'm supposed to be patient and take this. No, everybody has a limit. Everybody has a cutoff, and everybody should know the deal breakers before we even get started. That woman that he messed with should know the deal breaker before he gets started. Before that baby is born, that woman should have known the deal breakers. And when they hit it, automatically, no, I'm gone. I'm gone. And for guys to spread this kind of stuff, like this is acceptable, or we should feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you as a human. As a man, I do not. Because number one, the first time that child talked to me that way, I'd be hung up. I just may give her a chance to redeem herself. The second time, I'm blocking her. I'm blocking you, I'm blocking the mother. And basically, the checks come through automatic payment. I don't even have to see you or talk to you. I don't know you. My ex tried to pull that shit one time. Now she knows I will die for my children. Somebody puts a hand on my kid, trust and believe, I'll kill that dude twice, and I'll spit at the judge and said, okay, what are you gonna do? Lock me up for life, or are you gonna put me on give me the shot? Either way, I'm good, because I knew what I was doing. I said I will. 2 things I will do for my children when they were small, especially when they were small. 2 things I'll do. One thing I will die, and the other one I'll sit. I'll sit for a lifetime on death row behind my children. I've always said that. And whatever comes, comes. But there's one thing I will not take. I will not take that kind of disrespect. And I will not take, when they were small, I will not take defiance. I do not allow a child to define me, because I have to protect that child. I have to teach that child. I have to raise that child. And by the same token, I do not disrespect my children. Period. I'm not going to disrespect my child. I'm not going to shame my child in public. Many a day, I've gone to the principal's office and said I almost got into fights with principals behind my kid because they weren't treating my kid fairly. I've written letters and gotten principals and teachers in trouble behind my kids. I've stood in the gap for kids that weren't even mine. But one thing they never did, I don't care whether it was my children, my grandchildren, my niece and nephew, or children that I happen to be under me because I was dating their mother. That never happened. Ever. Ever. Even with kids that weren't mine, that never happened. Because if it happens, guess what? You and your mama got to go. If you're mine, you get one chance. You do it twice, basically lose my number because I don't know you. And I'll tell them, don't even bother coming to my funeral. If I'm sick, let me die. I'm willing to take that L because that I will not accept. I don't accept it from white people. And white people have all the power in the world. I don't accept it from them. I'm definitely not going to accept it from somebody that I have to write a check for, that I have to be responsible for, that I have to go by and visit. And I'm calling you to say hello. You saying you don't want to talk to me? Boop. Ain't nothing but a word. First thing I want to tell you, put your mama on the phone. Either you check her or basically you and her have to go. Period. So I don't know what kind of men they're raising. I think a lot of these black men are raised feminists. And a lot of these black men don't think they're black men anymore. I think a lot of these black men think that they're white women and they're responding like white mothers, where the black women are actually acting like white men. Now, as a human being, as a father, I don't think any child should talk to their parent like that. I don't care whether I hate their mother's guts. And I do mean that. And there's been times with the mother of my children, I was just barely an inch from hating her guts. But I will never, ever allow my children to disrespect her, period. I don't care what you say. You're not going to disrespect your mother in front of me. You need to apologize right there. I'm not going to disrespect your mother in front of you. It's not going to happen. And I never did. I don't care how mad I am at her. That's their mother. That's their parent. They need to stay in a child's place and need to respect and honor their mother just like their mother, especially if their mother is taking care of them and trying to do. I'm not saying always, but trying to do the best she can for them. She deserves at least that modicum of respect. You don't go, if she's feeding you, you don't bite her hand. I don't care if we're getting along or not. So what I saw, it does not fly with me. I don't care what she's on. I don't care how mad she is. That man is that child's father. And if that man is that child's father, that he's due a certain amount of respect. Now, if you don't want to respect that man, don't call him. Block his number so we can't call you and let it be. And tell him up front, hey, you know what? We don't even mess with you no more. Why don't you go that way? And then the man will just have to take that L. The second thing is, and I'll make this short. I'm not saying this for every man. Every man has to do what he thinks is right for his kids and for himself, right? I don't fight over children. I'll repeat that. I don't fight over children, and I pay child support. I don't fight over kids. Now, the only way I'm going to have to go to court to get my children is if those children are being abused by that mother. If that mother has them in a position where they're being abused and not cared for properly, I'll go to court to save the life and welfare of my kids, of my children. That's the only way I will fight for my children. If that child is being abused by that mother or she's allowing that child to be abused, she's lucky if I take her to court. She's lucky if I take her to court. Because if it gets to that level, then, like I said, I will sit for that child. Other than that, I'm not going to court to fight for the kid. I'm gonna pay what I'm supposed to pay. If I have to work 2 jobs to pay child support, I'll do that. But if you take me to court, I got to fight over a kid, you can settle this outside of court. We can settle this outside the court. Give me a reasonable amount of pay where I can pay every month. You never have to see me again. I'll pay in whatever's appointed, whatever's on that paper. That's what I'll pay. If you want to ruin your kids and you have your kids all screwed up, that's on you. I cooperate. I do my part. But I am not going to fight you over the children. The court won't give them to me like they're supposed to, or you won't give them to me like you're supposed to. If you don't want to do the right thing, then guess what? Hey, that's the luck of the draw. And when they come say, well, Daddy, how come you didn't fight me? Go ask your mom. I'm not fighting for nobody because it's supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to be co-parenting. It's supposed to be where we actually try to raise the best kids that we can, not because you're mad at me and you try to take advantage and you try to control me with the children. I don't play that. I do not play that. You mess with me, I will punch that red button in a heartbeat. And I'll tell you, this is my boundary. You cross it, I'm going to punch the red button. I'm not going to hesitate. You're not going to make my life miserable by taking me to court. You take me to court. I told my old lady once. Told her once. She tried that stuff. Well, I can go to court and I can get this much. You sure can. Go do it. But he said, before you do that, you tear up my number. You block me. delete my number because I don't know you anymore. Try it. She never did because she wanted her children to have a father. She tried it once more when I went to pick up my kids to take them to a birthday party. She tried to pull that my kid stuff. These are my children. You have to come through me. I said, I thought these were our kids. I don't have to have permission to come get my children to take them to a birthday party. She said, yes, you do. I said, I guess so. Guess what? I guess they are your children. Those kids didn't see me for 4 months. She was calling me every week to come by and see the kids. And until finally I relented, but she never did that again. I'm like Joe Biden. I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I don't play these back and forth games. Now, if you're young, my daughter used to do that. I text her, I call her, and she wouldn't answer. I know her mama. I gave her a couple of months. She didn't disrespect me. She just didn't return the call. I stopped calling. Just that simple. Stop calling. And then when she asked me how come I don't call her or text her, she don't return the call. Guess what she started doing? I text, she returned the text. I call, she returns the call. Same thing for my son. I text, they return. I call, they answer. If you want me in your life, you'll act like you want me in your life. I will not be a stranger in my children's life. If you don't want me, guess what? Go ahead and you go that way, I'll go this way. Fair is fair. I'm not going to force myself into your life. I'm not. Because of my ego. If you don't want me around, you don't want me to be your father, okay, go find yourself another father. Or have your mother go find yourself a father. And when we come back to talk about it, well, Dad, where were you? Go ask your mama. She's supposed to find you a replacement for me because she didn't want me around. So be it. Unapologetic about that. I have boundaries. You cross them, I don't care who you are. You cross them, guess what? You got to pay a penalty. I don't care if you're a parent, if you're a lover, if you're a child. My grandchild doesn't, he's 9. He doesn't cross those boundaries. I love him to death. I would die for that child. I would die for that little boy. I have threatened people over that little boy. Don't mistreat that child, otherwise you're going to have to deal with me. Period. I am pretty tolerant. I take a lot of stuff. A lot of the little bitty stuff, the little niggling stuff, I don't even bother with because it's too small. But you get close to that line, I tell you, you're getting close to that line. You keep this up, I'm going to stop talking to you, period. I'll be out of your life. You don't have to worry about me talking to you. That little girl, I don't want to talk to you. All right, baby, I feel you. I'd have hung up. You have a nice life. That's what I would have said. But everybody says, oh, no, you should be patient. You should be patient. It's about teaching. At some point, black men are going to have some form of self-respect and self-worth and not fall on their knees because some little girl won't talk to you, even if it's yours. Stand up and be a goddamn man for a change. Anyway, let me stop this rant before I really start cussing. And then YouTube will definitely take it down, okay? I just want to drop that, man, because I felt some kind of way. And I felt some kind of way when I first saw it. And I put in one comment, I said we disowned. And then people felt some kind of way. They come in and simping for the little girl. Take your L. If you fell into the trap, take your L. You got her pregnant, pay your costs, man. You fell into it. That's life. Take your loss, move on, pay your penalty, and keep it pushing. But that kind of stuff, where it's voluntary, where you got to take some shit and you got to pay for it, I'm sorry, not me. But yeah. Man, I could go on another hour, but I'm not. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys.